Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today, with my handy dandy green screen, I have 10 different fragrances that are gonna make women turn their heads when they walk by and they smell what you've got on. So this right here, this is exactly what's gonna be happening. This is what you're... You get the idea. All the fragrances I'm going to talk to you guys about are linked in the description below. These are certified compliment monsters. And we're going to kick things off with this Azzaro Wanted Elixir. I know I complained about this a little bit when I talked about this fragrance initially in my first impressions, but these new bottles do... We're starting off on a great foot here. These new bottles do feel a little bit flimsier than the old ones. They just feel lighter weight, and of course, they have a worse atomizer. Feels like they cheaped out a little bit on the presentation, just a little bit. But this new one, it works surprisingly well. Now the opening is fantastic. The raspberry that's in there is great. It doesn't go too syrupy to the point that it gets like cloying or just annoying to smell. It's like this nice balance of being zingy, fruity, sweet, slightly sugary, but also with a tang to it. And as it dries down, it becomes a great wearable leather fragrance that has just a touch of that residual sugar from the opening into the dry down. And you might think, well, you know, there's not too many leather fragrances out there that are extremely easy to wear, compliment pulling type of scents. A lot of people will point to ombre leather, probably the most well-known one, of course, from Tom Ford. Any one of the ombre leather fragrances at this point, because there are a few of them, but a lot of people will point to those. But once you get past ombre leather, there's not a whole heck of a lot of leather scents, at least in the designer realm, that have made a big impact in terms of sales and just overall popularity. But this one has a chance to do that, and it's one that my wife absolutely goes crazy for, which I didn't overly expect. I expected the opening, but then even in the dry down, she's like, that stuff is fantastic. So Forever Wanted Elixir starting us off right. After that one, Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum. And when it comes to Le Beau, you could just about go with any of them. You could go with this one, you could go with the Eau de Toilette, you could go with Paradise Garden, even the new Flower Edition. And if I can just complain for just one quick second. I feel like Flower Edition is not a great name for a fragrance. Now hear me out. It's not that there are no floral aspects in the new Le Beau Flower Edition, because there are. Is it extremely floral? No, not to me. But the reason it's maybe not a great name is because I think a lot of people, when they hear Flower Edition as the name of a new flanker, they go, and they tune out. And also it's going to really put into people's minds before they even smell it. Not everybody, but a lot of people, oh, Flower Edition, this is gonna be more feminine. And so you get a lot of people going into the fragrance automatically thinking, this is gonna be a feminine, floral forward fragrance. I'm not really into that. I'm not interested. So I feel like as a brand, especially one like Jean Paul Gaultier, if you're naming your new fragrance Flower Edition, you're kind of blowing yourself in the foot. That's not how that saying goes. Shooting yourself in the foot. Blowing your foot off. Put those together. Anyway, back to Le Beau Le Parfum. It does not have any of those issues that I just complained about. This one is rich and creamy, sweet, but also tropical and has a nice fresh aspect to it as well. It has enough push that you can wear this honestly just about any time you want. During winter, it works as well. And it is one of my go-to fragrances if I'm looking for something that's going to pull positive attention. Because it has the performance to last and project extremely well in pretty much any situation. It's different enough from most other things on the market to help you stand out a little bit, but then it has extreme mass appeal because of that kind of fresh, sweet combo it has. Let's go overly expensive with Absolute Aventus from Creed. Now, I know that when it comes to Creed, when it comes to Aventus, a lot of people are gonna say, look, it just ain't worth it nowadays. And that's hard to argue because at full retail, it is, as I just said, very pricey. To the tune of $565 US for a 75 ml sized bottle. Now you can find it at discounters for less than that, actually a decent amount less than that, but it's still going to be expensive. In terms of notes, there are many of them. There's grapefruit, bergamot, black currant, pineapple, ginger, cinnamon, citron, cardamom, patchouli, vetiver, ambroxan, oak moss, and many more. So yeah, it's got a lot of notes, but to be fair, I spent a lot of time railing against brands for only giving us 3 notes, like this one right here, for example. So I guess it's okay that they're giving us like 30. It's not actually 30, it's more like 20 something. 23, 24, 25, something around there. But just like the original Aventus, Absolute Aventus is the type of scent that you can wear anywhere, anytime, daytime, evening, doesn't matter. It's got actually decent performance. A lot of Creed fragrances, newer ones, will get hated on for their level of performance versus the price you're paying. This one actually does a decent job with that, so no complaints, other than it is almost $600 at full retail. After tax, yeah, it's rough. It's 600. But if you are balling on a budget, you can get different alternatives, clones out there that will get you similar smells, similar performances for less monies. Club de Nuit Pursuit 1 is probably the most well-known of the bunch. Although as of shooting this video, they have released Club de Nuit Intense Absolute, which is only available in the Dubai duty-free, like the airport. If I can ever get my hands on it, we'll see what that one smells like, but I have a hankering feeling that it could be this, because it's named Absolute. But yeah, Absolute Aventus, it does real well. Unless we're talking price, and then. Now, as I mentioned, you can find that at discounters kind of in the $300 range, but hear me out, you can actually make that even less, depending on where you're shopping. Because I have coupon codes to make it so. The JOMASHOP codes only work within the app, so be aware of that. You have to have the JOMASHOP app, but then you can use those codes. They change every quarter. And then I also have codes for Fragflex, the perfume box, and other discounters as well. Let's go with this one, Voyage d'Hermes. This is from, of course, Hermes. And this is the Parfum iteration. This is a fragrance that by and large is pretty much forgotten nowadays, because when it comes to Hermes, it's basically been what? Age 24 and Terre d'Hermes as far as the men's fragrances. And I would love to sit here and tell you guys, if they come out with the new Voyage d'Hermes, it's gonna crush. It's gonna sell so much, so popular. But realistically, it probably would not, because this is not a fragrance line that was ever enormously popular. Again, enormously popular. Gonna be somebody like, no, it's pretty popular, man, actually. But one thing this is low-key fantastic. But it will appeal more, I think, to guys that are a little bit older. And I'm not saying like you have to be 45 or something to wear this, but I would imagine like a young professional could easily pull this off, somebody mid-20s or older, but probably younger guys would not gravitate towards it as much because it's not overly sweet. It is a little bit more classy, a little bit more mature. It has notes of cardamom, lemon, tea, and a decent amount of tea, with some floral aspects, woods, and musk as it dries. It's kind of in the same family style as something like a Declaration from Gaultier. This does come across more modern than that scent though, which also makes sense because it was released like 14 years later, but hey, who's counting? But yeah, Voyage d'Hermes, this stuff, criminally overlooked. Really, 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 really good. But let's get to something sweet again with Invictus Victory Elixir. I do so love Victory Elixir. And actually, this one has been compared a little bit in terms of scent profile to that one, Le Beau Le Parfum. They have quite different note breakdowns, but they do have a similarity in the way that that sweetness comes across. So Victory Elixir is really about the vanilla and tonka specifically, and it's got this really appealing, bubbly, effervescent, sparkling nature to it that I've talked about ad nauseum. When you spray it on your skin, it's just like it leaps off of your skin. It grabs people's attention, including whoever's wearing it, which is me. And then I go like, wow, you smell good. Who is that? Who's that guy that smells so good? Oh, it's me. It's me. Smell somebody wearing Sauvage. I smell like vanilla. I smell good. Better than you. And Ambroxan boy. There's also lavender in here. There's cardamom, incense, patchouli. Great performance, lasts a long time. Fall, winter time, day, evening, don't matter. I loved Invictus Victory. Really, really good, solid stuff. And then Victory Elixir came out and made that one almost obsolete for me, so. Yeah, where do we want to go? You know, let's double up on the Paco. Million Gold Elixir. Oh, excuse me, I said double up on the Paco, I forgot. It's no longer Paco Rabanne, it's just Rabanne. Stupid. And it's not 1 million, it's million. Million Gold Elixir. Spray, spray. It's pretty strong. What do you want from me? So yeah, it's got vanilla. Again, yes it does, a good amount of vanilla. Fortunately, I love vanilla and most people do, which is also one of the reasons that you see vanilla used so often in fragrances. Men's fragrances and just fragrances in general. People like vanilla. Smells good. This one also has some spices in there, sandalwood as well. You get that sandalwood coming out as the fragrance dries down. It's a nice sandalwood, pretty smooth. You know, it doesn't have much of an off-putting nature to it. And I say that because Million Gold, that came out before Million Gold Elixir, had a propensity to smell like body odor. It's not good. It's not a good thing. Somehow it made it all the way through testing at Rabanne and nobody went, so guys, hear me out. This smells like sweaty jockstrap. That could be a problem. Everybody just went, yes, it's great. This is really, woo, it's a hit. And you know what? I might not be that far off. Yeah. Because there have been times that I've been working through fragrance submissions for briefs that I've written for fragrances that I'm going to be releasing. And there have been times where I've been like, this stuff kind of sucks. But if one of the people who's calling the shots is like, this is good, then everyone else goes, oh, this is, yeah, that is good. I like it. So yeah, Million Gold, kind of rough. Million Gold Elixir smooths all that out, sweetens it up with the vanilla, makes it way more appealing, easier to wear. And look at that color. Nice, deep, rich, good performance too. Let's switch it up. Imagination, Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton has a lot of fragrances that specifically for spring, summer, and early fall are lights out. They give you something that smells like niche quality, if you want to call it that, niche quality, while still having mass appeal. So they end up being fragrances that smell a cut above your more typical designers, but they still have that typical designer compliment factor. And Imagination is one of the biggest of them all. The opening has a huge blast of citrus. There is citron, bergamot, and orange, along with neroli, which helps support those citrus notes. You also have ginger in here, which makes it very bright, lively, and zingy, and then tea as well. And you hear all that and you go, oh, that's good, that sounds good, but it's probably gonna be terrible as far as performance goes, right? It's gonna last like 1 hour, 2 hours, piddly, projection, nobody's gonna be able to smell the stuff. No, bro, they can smell it. It's got good longevity, really good. For a fragrance of this style specifically, yes. And it also projects well enough that people can pick it up as well. So that means that you get a summertime freshie with something interesting going on, something that makes it stand out with the ginger, citrus, neroli, and then tea specifically. It really captures attention, but you don't have to run through your bottle, you know, spraying over and over and over and over again because nobody can smell the stuff. It actually gets you noticed. Back to another personal favorite of mine, Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma Intense. It is yet another catastrophe, a blight against mankind as far as the note breakdown goes, because they're just like, oh, how about lavender, vanilla, and vetiver? Sounds interesting to me. How about you? Yeah, that's, it's boring. The note breakdowns, but the fragrance, that means good. Once again, vanilla is one of the main things here in the air. Lights out, just so good. Ton of attention, big compliment puller, lasts a long time. It's not as sticky sweet as like these two over here. Imagine that Rabanne being the sweetest of the sweet. Go figure, that's very rare. I don't know what I was trying to do there. But it does have good sweetness. It's got a decent amount. Just is balanced out a little bit more with the woodiness and then the lavender in there as well, which gives it more versatility. So that one, it's gonna be more spring, fall for the most part, but it works really well during the winter. During the summer, you don't probably go with something else, but if you really like it, tone it down a little, you can pull it off. Stronger with you? Absolutely. There are a lot of Stronger with yous that could go here. The original, Stronger with you Intensely, Stronger with you Parfum, Stronger with you, Oops, I'm discontinued. I mean leather. Oops, I'm also discontinued. I mean oud. You could put any of those, but I do gravitate back towards absolutely. I don't know, something about it. It's got this nice booziness to it, this additional warmth and sweetness. It's got a little bit of an aromatic touch to it as well. It is sweet, not as sweet as Intensely, but still definitely leaning over toward that very sweet side, has great performance, once again, easily gets you noticed. And when it comes to Stronger With You, I would suggest, you know, if you can go into a store, sample whichever ones they have, because for each person, it seems like, you know, one of the Stronger With Yous works best for them. So for some people it's this. For other people, like I said, Intensely or the new Parfum. But there's gonna be one that's gonna stand out a little bit more for you. That would be the one I'd go for, because when it comes to Stronger With You, just about the whole lineup works for something like this. And last but not least, Mystery Tobacco. I thought about putting in Red Tobacco from Mancera, which frankly is more affordable. The only issue with Red Tobacco is the opening. The opening of that fragrance can be harsh. It can make people run away screaming like they're being chased by Patrick Bateman. So take that into account. But as long as the opening doesn't bother you, or you're okay with spraying the fragrance on and letting it dry down a little bit, Red Tobacco works extremely well also. Now, Mystery Tobacco is in that style. It's in the style of Red Tobacco or Carlisle from Parfums de Marly. It almost splits the difference between the two. It's got a nice sweetness to it, nice spiciness to it, like a warm spiciness. The tobacco smells fantastic as far as quality goes, which if you say, man, this is one of the best wearable, compliment-pulling fall wintertime tobacco scents. It's by Carolina Herrera. A lot of people may think, Herrera, like bad boy? Huh? But this is the expensive Herrera. Ooh, fancy. Ooh, magnetic cap. Is that the only? No, this one has a magnetic cap. These two magnetic caps, these are the champions. But yeah, Herrera crushed with this fragrance. It is crazy good. The issue is the price. It is expensive, and it is not often at discounters for a better price. There are alternatives to it. There are clones to it. Fragrance World has one that's really good. Alhambra has one too. There are actually a few of them out there. But if you got the money, you can pony up for Mystery Tobacco and that stuff. Like I said, fall and winter time, man, it's one of the best tobaccos around. So there we go, guys. There are some fragrances that will turn heads in a not demon-possessed way. Hopefully, knock on wood. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.